not as deep a hole, but a bit of the varnish coming off the Hawks,
Yeah, it is.
who were one of the spruiked teams coming into the season, thrilling last year and now living the journey of the high riser that then meets the plateau.
Sam, what was the message to the players after that one?
It was more just ask them, actually. Just had a bit of a discussion around let it all out, what's going on and where you're at and where are we at and what do you think? And, you know, I think it was pretty clear to everyone that was here and those watching at home that, you know, we're, at this point, miles off it.
Where do you think the players are at? Like, you ask them what's going on, like, where do you think they're at?
I don't understand the question. Where do I think they're at? We just got beaten by 10 goals, so that's where they're at.
Is it a step backwards, Sam, or just a bad night?
I mean, I think you're always assessing where you're at, and what we've known is we're not the best in it, and that's what we want to be. That was a pretty big reality check for what the best look like at this stage of the season.
7 and 5, 2 big clashes to come. How did you leave Friday night?
Oh, no, they got a belting. I think the team that belted them are very, very good, but they got a belting, and the reality is they haven't achieved anything this side. And now you sit there and go, OK, do you understand that as a playing group? Because I know the coach does. I absolutely do. But I don't... They enjoyed this, as I said, a 10-2 finish to the year, won the first final, just got nutted, right? So they spent a summer of heaped praise, and then they won their first 4 games of this year. So I got no doubt in their mindset that they're here we go sort of thing, as opposed to here we go and let's get to work. But I think it was more here we go. You understand?
Yeah.
So when the pressure came, I just thought the club itself didn't... They just seemed edgy unnecessarily in the lead up to that game on Friday night. Maybe I'm reading a bit into it. But as I said to you, there were 7 games. Brisbane, Essendon, the game was great as it turned out, but everyone's going, Essendon injured. And so the focus rightly went on that game, and the criticism... So then they get critiqued. When you're a big game like that, you get pulled apart. And then so some of it's positive, some of it's negative. James Sicily, this rubbish about there's been a pile on James Sicily. Turn it up. So, and then the footy manager comes out, right? Rob McCarthy, I don't actually where... Did you give this to... I think you might have given it to Ralphie.
Yep.
On Friday night. So the quote was... I think we've got the quote there, haven't we?
Yep.
Otherwise I'm going to have to put my glasses on. I will. He says... there it is. I can't be more emphatic. This is about some of the criticism, veiled or not, of James Sicily, that anyone would question his... Of course his leadership can be questioned. That's footy, right? It couldn't be further from the truth. That's OK too. That's your opinion. You're the manager. You're not going to say anything else. But then to say his leadership is in question, that is bullshit. And you can quote me on that. When I read that, I thought, they're getting unnecessarily wound up here. And you don't... When they're going beautifully in that 10-2 win and they're 4-zip, and the love's been... The media is... No one... No GM of the footy's coming out and go, hey, you blokes, come on, ease up. Back off our boys a bit. They're not that good. But when a little bit of heat and pressure comes on... So that was... To me, that was kind of the mindset going in. And then they got punched in the nose. And they couldn't... Sam was a bit... his press conference, this is what... And then they didn't tackle the week before. So all of a sudden, we think this is just going to be a tackle fest. And they got more of the same. So... Yeah, they're going to get more heat and they'll probably get crankier, but that's not going to do you any good.
No, the critique has been reasonable, and as it turns out, it's been accurate.
Well, that's the other thing. Well, all of the build-up to it, it was... No one was saying... what did Sam say? And now everyone thinks we can't play and we're never going to win again. Yep. So I know that, it's in the margins, but I did get a mindset that they felt like they were under siege when they weren't under siege. They were just getting good old-fashioned critique.
What's happening on the ground is fascinating. So Hockball was a fad, and it was last year's fad, and now teams are simply not allowing them to play in that way anymore. They've been scouted and respected as a top team.
Yeah.
They haven't made the adjustment to that, and we haven't seen what they're going to be next. So they're not what they were, and they're not what they're going to be, and this is the most painful period where you don't look like you're anything at the moment.
That's a great point, Jared. And you know what they're not prepared to do on the basis of the last 2 weeks is get their hands dirty and put their head in a hole and go and tackle someone. So that's a pretty clear message. Sam's already said it once. the response was negligible. So you're right. We don't know what the response is, but right now the response is not get to work and work hard. So let's see. Their forward line's all over the shop. They've introduced 2 prize recruits into their back half, but you wonder whether it's stymieing some of the run and dare and all that sort of stuff. So it's pretty good. It makes for a great Thursday night.
Yeah, it does. So the Dogs and Adelaide, their next 2.